strategies. Traditional strongholds are no longer guaranteed wins, as shifting demographics and growing political awareness make once safe zones more competitive. The Ugandan political terrain is increasingly getting harder. From rural heartlands to urban swing constituencies, parties are deploying resources, courting influential local leaders, and making tailored promises to woo voters. The opposition is breaking the bank on discontent and coalition building. Political rifts, defections, and gerrymandering realignments are also reshaping the political terrain, making it harder to predict outcomes. As the political engines rev ahead of the 2026 elections, a new crop of political actors is emerging. Fresh faces, alternative parties, and rebranded movements, all vying to disrupt the status quo. This is the Frontline. Frontline.
Well, it's the Frontline, and a very good evening to you, dear viewers. It's a very interesting moment in the politics of the country, and we'll be looking at how everything is unraveling ahead of 2026. Quite interesting bits and dynamics. We're looking at the bid for key strongholds, Buganda becoming the focus. It's really taking center stage as the National Unity Platform, which fared very well, decisively in the 2021 race, is now warming up to getting 100 constituencies. How tenable is this? Coming at a time when the party has also suffered a few bruises, given what has transpired. They have so far lost about 7 notable MPs, and well, they declared that these constituencies must still be filled by the National Unity Platform. The notable constituencies are one for Honorable Matthias Mpuga, that is Nyendo Mukungwe. There's one for Honorable Abed Bwanika, one for Twaha Kagabo, Joyce Bagala, and others. What is at stake? We'll be looking at the odds, because at the same time, the NRM is also making inroads to reclaim places where they performed dismally. Will they really make it, or it remains a tall order that is unattainable? My name is Simon Kagwanjala. I'll be joined by Honorable SSEMUJJU Ibrahim Nganda, Member of Parliament for Kira Municipality, and the spokesperson for PFF, together with Honorable Odonga Oto, former Member of Parliament for Aru County. I hope you're making a comeback. Oh, yeah. You are?
Sure did.
Oh, good to have you. We're also joined by the frontliner, Honorable Tobi Ofono Opondo. He's exiting the media center pretty soon, and he will now go in the trenches to look for elections.
The timetable is no longer in his hands. If you're going to contest for elections, the Electoral Commissioner has announced a roadmap. You are supposed to resign a public job.
So he's quitting?
So he will not leave at his own whim. So he now has to be whipped out of the media center.
Well, I actually thought it was just a big joke when you declared here, but good to have you. Are you warming up?
Am I just warming up?
Fano Pondo will be a value addition to Parliament.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So before long, he will be among the beneficiaries of the bonanzas.
Simon, for avoidance of doubt, I have written my resignation letter. I'm handing it in tomorrow. And on Monday, I will be handing over office.
Pretty quick.
That's very quick. Yes. Or you were fired?
He's eager to join Parliament.
If you are fired, you don't write a resignation letter.
Anyway.
You don't go back to hand over. Just
thank you. We're also joined by Honorable Michael Mavike, a former legislator and one of the founding members of the Democratic Alliance. Is what we're hearing true, that it's now shifting from Alliance to Democratic Front?
Not at all. The DA is going to remain a big tent. But you know that the DA is constituted of several formations, some registered and others non-registered. And those members inside the DA who want to contest for the next election will certainly choose one of the platforms inside the DA. And they will run on that platform as an electoral vehicle. But the DA will remain the big tent.
Well, nice to have you.
Thank you.
Is he meant to come back to Parliament?
I think I've seen your poster somewhere in Machindi, right?
No, due to public demand.
Why do you start with the no?
Well, that's very interesting. And perhaps I'll just start with you. What's your take on the way the landscape is shaping up? You've seen your colleague, hitherto a very close friend, Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi, swearing that come rain...
Not just a close friend. Mwanga was the chairman of the Younger Democrats. Maviki was the Secretary General.
So they've related for long. Well, he has declared that some of the vacant constituencies that have to be filled include those of Honorable Mpuga and the other dissenters. What's your take?
No, I think Mr. Mwanga is engaged in a very big diversion. And I want to advise my brother Bobby Wine not to listen to him. The focus now should not be on trying to remove and fight and make competition in constituencies which have already been liberated. The focus must be on those constituencies which the NRM has been winning with unopposed candidates. And the focus must also be in those constituencies which the NRM has actually had a foothold for such a long time. And even in areas largely outside Uganda. NUP has 55 out of the 57 MPs coming from one region. So it is important that focus shifts to the rest of the country to make that party a truly national movement. As you know, I was deeply involved in the formation of NUP. You know for sure that I and Mwanga, actually Mwanga chaired the initial efforts in Nigeru that resulted into the formation of what we call the DP reunion. Now, the DP reunion intended to bring together scattered forces, and indeed the results were immense. Once we got together through the reunion, we brought new momentum that ended up in this new formation called NUP. To take you a bit back, we realized at the time that the opposition had been winning West Nile. Semogele won West Nile, and Besje won West Nile all the time. The opposition had been winning Lango, it had been winning Acholi. It had been winning in and out Teso. And the problem was in Buganda and in Busoga. So we assumed at the time that if the West Nile, Lango, Acholi remain voting in similar trends, and you do work in Buganda and Busoga, you would certainly create a very big problem for Mr. Museveni. If anything, win him.
So that validates the argument that NUP is Buganda center.
We did concentrate. I want to tell you that NUP did not win by accident. It was a deliberate plan, and I'm happy to have been part of that plan. We concentrated effort in flipping Buganda. We concentrated effort in flipping Busoga. And we had the Bijirwa, we had the Samu Lubega, we had the Mutema spending nights in parts of Uganda, in parts of Busoga. But when we flipped to Uganda and Busoga, because you all know, some people have been saying, no, just 4 months they were able to flip Uganda. No, that work was a carryover from the DP reunion. You remember that from the DP reunion, we had intended to to operate inside the DP. And when we had problems with Mao scattering the whole effort, all of us moved into NUP. And the chief architect was, of course, the person who had all these files, and the plan was Surach Danala. Surach Danala, who had been the organizing secretary of DP, moved with the entire register and resource into NUP. And that was the basis. And that is why you have that of the 57 MPs, nearly 47 of them are originally DP. So, sadly, when we were able to succeed in Uganda and Busoga, West Nile flipped back to Museveni, Lango flipped back, Acholi flipped back. So we had assumed that had we had the North voting as previously, we would have put up a very good show, if not win the Ofono.
Before I move to OO, is it fallacious to imagine that NUP still has a firm grip on Buganda, and they can attain the dream of getting to 100 constituencies?
Now, sadly, as I said, there was a problem that the other regions did not move with us. I think they rejected the candidate that we presented. They've got reasons. Actually, at one point I was in northern Uganda, and we were hearing from them why they did not move, why they did not vote as previously. Now, it is very sad that a region which we concentrated a lot of effort in winning, today a lot of battles have been introduced. You don't problematize your stronghold. What NUP is doing now is to problematize a stronghold which it should actually be consolidating. And that is the worry. While Mr. Museveni is moving back northern Uganda to consolidate his gain, is moving to Teso to consolidate, NUP is incidentally problematizing its own backyard.
Thank you. What's your reading of how things are unfolding? You feel the energy that is coming from NUP in their bid to hold the grip on Buganda especially?
If they want to remain in Buganda, that's really their choice. For the NRM, we are looking at the whole country. Like Onwabika has said, NRM is consolidating its previous stronghold, is consolidating newly acquired territories, if I may use that word, of Acholi, of Lango, of extreme or mid West Nile, of Kasese, of Rukunjiri, which had slipped. We are also addressing the issues that made Buganda snub NRM and President Museveni. Luckily, the last 4.5 years has shown, or is showing every other day, that the trust of the people, the voters in Buganda, in NUP, was misplaced, was based on bad information, and they have proved it all around. For the 4 years, the MPs elected on NUP tickets, you can, out of the 57, you can probably count 3 that you can say have performed the job of an MP in Parliament, or even in the constituency, even if you talk about welfare issues in the constituency. In my assessment, they seem to be people who came...
So you're saying only 3 out of 57?
About 3. The overwhelming majority are people who appear to me to have come to a mango tree simply to pick fruits. And I think the people, the voters, are alive to that fact. Added to what Honorable Mawika has just said, they have failed utterly. They are failing. I don't see them walking back to correct. they are failing to manage internal contradictions, even contradictions that otherwise should remain peaceful. They have made it antagonistic and irreconcilable. Meanwhile, the NRM is bending backwards to ensure that contradictions that have the issues in Uganda, I don't think was because NUP in Busoga. I don't think it is because of NUP's legwork. It was a contradiction within the leadership of NRM. You remember that we had a number of top leaders in Busoga who are NRM, who for different fears, I think personal fears, chose to offload all the problems in Busoga. It could be unemployment, it could be infrastructure, it could be issues of the lake fishing, it could be issues of the forest, it could every problem. They decided to offload those problems to the person of Yoweri Museveni. And the voters believed them, believed that lie. That's actually the reason why, while President Museveni lost Busoga, he won only 3 districts. Nearly all members of parliament, I think there are 42 or 47 members of parliament from Busoga region, nearly all of them, save Fasubani Basalirwa and 2 opposition in Jinja City, 3 in Jinja City, and Honorable, my brother, Honorable Abudu Katuntu, who you may find it now difficult to locate where he stands. Politically, I mean. And I say this with the sincerity, he's my friend, we are really... The overwhelming majority were returned strongly on the NRM ticket. Why? Because the disagreement, the fears of some of the leaders there, they could not confront. To say, no, these problems cannot be put just on President Museveni. It should be put on the leadership of the NRM as a group. And some of those leaders who are heaping those problems on President Museveni have been in government with the President Museveni since 1986, since 1989. But they refuse to take responsibility. I think even today, if you ask them the problems of Busoga, what is it? They'll say Museveni. Why? Because they think it is the easier way for to do self-preservation.
Would you be bold enough to mention the names?
I hope this time round, the NRM machinery will not permit them to get away with the falsification of facts. Now, my reading of the rest of the country, NRM is growing from strength to strength. President Yoweri Museveni, if, as is likely, NRM will win.
But can you predict the margin?
I foresee NRM recovering some of the lost constituencies and ground in Buganda. Let me just give you an example. I foresee, for example, but I foresee Honorable Muyingo, for instance, returning. I foresee Honorable Nabakova returning. I foresee recovery of parts of Mitiana Mubende area and so on. So, even in Buganda, NRM is likely to square up with the combined opposition.
Thank you very much. Honorable Dongoto, what's your analysis of how the ground is shaping up, especially now that the quest for key battlegrounds is on?
Thank you again for inviting me. It's been a while. I think it's 4 years.
Yeah, it's been forever.
and my views are intact. I'm glad to see.
I can see you have grown beards now.
Oh, Fondo. My reading is this. It will be threefold: Buganda, Eastern, and the North. Let me start with the North. No one should take Central North for granted. And I'm talking with authority of Acholi. No one. I'm talking with authority. President Museveni may not get votes in Acholi. Even NUP or any other opposition party may not get votes in Acholi. Because the elections, as we head towards 2026, is issue-based.
So what is shifting the odds?
What is shifting the odds is that we have 77,000 cows of the Balalo headsmen trampling our gardens. So people are fed up. People are fed up, and you are going to see massive protest votes. And unfortunately, or fortunately, the Balalo are the president's tribesmates. So the whole issue in Acholi is hinging on that. I can talk with authority. So, Dugo Ofondo Pono, don't add us to statistics. This is work in progress, which we will not take it lying down. It was hinged on two issues: environment, but the president came with a presidential directive on charcoal, which was greeted with positive energy in the entire Acholi, and also the executive order asking the Balalo to vacate. Unfortunately, the president has issued two other directives, which seems to be countering the previous one. So whoever is there in the drawing board, and those who will have the biggest say in the final direction of Acholi politics, is myself and Honorable Gilbert Olanya. It's myself and Honorable Gilbert
You're
Olanya.
now the new self-appointed kingmaker.
I talk with authority. Now, coming to the central, I see a situation where, except Mpuga, NUP will sweep the entire central. So the works of the DA, the Democratic Alliance, that my good friend Mabika is in. Mabika is my good friend. He recruited me to UYD from Makerere University in 1996. Thank you. I joined the UYD and it gave me heights. But these works of DA, the Democratic Alliance in the central, is like termites building ant hill, and they think they can colonize the whole world. I don't see the DA shaking NUP stronghold. There may only be one survivor in the names of Mpuga, who is my good friend, and maybe the woman MP in Mpuga's constituency. But I see the entire central being swept by Bobby Wine's NUP. I don't see space for NRM.
Why do you bet on Mpuga?
I think he's a neat politician, and I think he has the time to really infect the constituency with his ideas and why they fell out. So it will be like the last bastion. I don't see a situation where the people of Mpuga's constituency accept Bobby Wine's candidate. I don't see that easily. Now, where NUP is making a technical blunder, and I pray they make it, is to try to attack a solid legislator like SSEMUJJU Ibrahim Nganda. Because SSEMUJJU Ibrahim has become an MP with a national constituency. His views resonate as far as my village in Upolache, as far as Ubongi. There are very few MPs, Dugo Fondo Ponda and Mabike, who had reached that threshold of being national MPs. Maybe we were like 10. Segona, Mwanga Kivumbi, Mpuga, Norbert Mao then, SSEMUJJU, myself. There are very few MPs that become national MPs and not constituency MPs. So for NUP, for reasons they know or they don't know, to try to attack the constituency of SSEMUJJU in the name of claiming Buganda is so parochial. It is so parochial. Now, what should bother anyone interested in political philosophy like me is that NUP will not expand to Central North. There is a barrier that we political scientists cannot answer.
I thought the North is opposition.
Yes, it is opposition, but there is unwritten consensus in Acholi, in Lango. I'm not counting Karamoja because Karamoja, Kapchorwa, and maybe Aluz, for them, their policy is AGIP, any government in power, they will support. So if you go towards West Nile, the people of West Nile have seemingly accepted what is convenient and not what is right. So as an opposition politician, I see us also losing strongholds in West Nile. So I don't see NUP expanding into central north. I don't see that. The reasons, I just have very preliminary thoughts. They are not conclusive, and I don't want to talk about it here. But at the same time...
why would NUP reject a popular party, opposition, that has a strong footprint in central region?
I think it boils down to management style that Bobi Wine is taking. I was only in parliament with him for 2 years. Then the last time I remembered interacting with him closely is when I was in a cell, when we were arrested during the Toji Kwatako. So I've not got so much quality time to interface with him. But I think Bobi Wine as an individual has achieved a lot beyond normal, predictable expectations. But listen to this, it may not be very convenient. He will not get the 37% again in the next election. They will not get the 37%. So they needed to engage in tactful alliances. They needed to engage people like Mpuga. They needed to use the Catholic Church. I'm a Roman Catholic. I don't know how a man from Pade can become a Roman Catholic. I am an Acholi, I'm not a Roman, but they tell me I'm a Roman Catholic. They need to de-escalate their fight on people like SSEMUJJU. They need to engage Nandala Mafabi. They need to engage Amri Atuboy, because they seem to be doing a lot of political work in the East that would deny both NUP and NRM the votes that Besigye traditionally got in the East. So I see a situation where, unless Dugo or Fondo Pondo, unless we can develop capacity to front parliamentary candidates in all the parliamentary seats in Uganda, the way my good friend Honorable Mabike was saying, unless opposition can front parliamentary candidates in all the elective positions all over Uganda, I don't see change coming soon.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Honorable SSEMUJJU, before I bring you on board, I'd like you to watch the clip of Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi's vigor for a new onslaught, and you'd actually tell us whether you feel targeted yourself in Kira municipality. Take a look.
Every time Uganda has been at a crossroad, the people of Uganda have found it in themselves the courage and charisma to confront a dictatorship. That one we are going to do again.
Well, along the way, I'll also be bringing you another recording where he was, with a lot of vigor, saying this time NUP is targeting 100 constituencies, including those that are already liberated. What's your share?
You see, the way you have framed the debate, you'll allow me to begin from something related but different. If you look at the results of the census, last year's housing and population census, we have 10 million young people aged 18 up to 30. 10 million. Those 10 million young people who are called youth in the Ugandan constitution are all voters. Only 1 million of them own a bank account. Only 1 million. Only 30% of those young people are in some form of employment. And I'm using the word some form because I have told you only 1 million own a bank account. It doesn't matter how much money is there. I remember one time when Father Carlos was writing about the North, he went to an ATM machine and corrected all the receipts. And he said the balance on each receipt was less than 10,000. That's just one age bracket. of 18 to 30. Then you have 30 to 40. In Uganda today, you have people who are considered by labor experts to be of working age, 14 to 64. There are 25 million people, but only 9 million are in some form of employment. The ones who are working, because if you look at government has about 500,000 people who are share all the government jobs, and then NSSF has about 2 million who are registered, but only about 800,000 are active. So the regional tribal strongholds will play a part, but these young people are restless. When you see Museveni stopping Bob Wine from mobilization, the most recent one, they accused him and his group of being involved in an accident while going to massacre, and that became a reason to stop them. The one of last week, Bob Wine was in Mbale addressing a town hall meeting. I think he has abandoned the idea of rallies because they will not allow him. But even the one of town hall meetings, they said, but you had crowds blocking traffic in Iganga. So even those ones we have stopped. I think the demography is going to play a bigger role than the regional interests my colleagues have articulated. Young people are restless. There are no jobs. This economy is malfunctioning. If you look at the budget, I am, as a shadow minister now for finance, going through budget and looking at the issues. You have government employees, about 500,000 people. The wage bill, the government wage bill, is about 9 to 9.5 trillion out of a budget of 70. And then the money that the 500,000 people are using for fuel, for workshop, for training, the total comes to about 16 trillion. That is the money that is in the hands of 500,000. And then Ofono Pondo's boss will throw 1 trillion to the rest of the population. He will fuel his car, go around the country photographing himself with the pigs, 2 pigs at a farm, 100 chicken, and then he will say, now I am going to put everybody in the money economy. So these are going to be real issues, even before you come to the regional issues. And for me, they are a worry, because the response of the state has been brutality, arresting young people, keeping them in prisons, frightening them, looking for all sorts of excuses that they have put on a military beret. They know they are not military beret, but they are looking at the way of confronting them. The election in Kawempe being one of those where you got the full force of the state to bear. So that's how I look at this election. Now I want to come to the question that you have said. But I wanted to begin with that background, that these young people, for me, doesn't matter where they are, whether they are in a central north, whether they are in a, you look at an area like Karamoja, the level of vulnerability. I was looking at the statistics. In Karamoja, the whole of Karamoja, 1.4 million people. They have 4,000 graduates. 70% of them are still engaged in open defecation, no toilets. So the level of vulnerability is what the NRM is exploiting. So what the NRM will register and present as strongholds, what is surprising me is that they are the most vulnerable regions in Uganda. If you look both at the recent population census and at the multi-dimensional poverty report of UBOS, almost every indicator in Karamoja. In Karamoja, people are sleeping in one room because the household in Uganda, defined by the UBOS, is 4.2 people per family. In Karamoja, people are sleeping in one room as a family are 70%, followed by Teso, followed by Western Nile, followed by...
But Karamoja is an NRM stronghold.
That's the point I make. That the strongholds of NRM are not because of the popularity of the party, but it's because of the level of vulnerability. So the more vulnerable people are, the more loyal they are, because they need to survive. And this is what the figures show from I mean, the Karamoja is number 1, followed by Western Nile, Acholi, Rango, and then Teso. And these are the areas that Mr. Ofono, the MP2B, has said they are consolidating. So they are using the vulnerability. Because they are, even in Busoga, by the way, although Bobo in one in Busoga, many of the MPs in Busoga, Ofono Pono, if you didn't know now, I want you to know. They were in banks changing notes of 2,000 MPs, including friends. On the day of election, they were lining up people, including people that you know who are our friends of Ofono. They were lining up people and giving them 2,000 to go and
for a vote.
For a vote in Busoga. I said people, yes. 2,000. So the NRM does not seek to win elections because of popular program, but they want to take advantage of the vulnerability. But coming to regional politics.
Yes. How terrible is Noop's bid?
Where I agree with the Odongo To, my last 14 years of participation in opposition politics, usually a time like this will be time for building alliances, which is a principle in war, that before you go to execute a war, the first thing is to build alliances. Even America, powerful as it is, you will hear them more often than not speaking about our allies. Even when they are going to confront a snake, they want to go with all the allies, because in war it is a principle. You will be too simplistic to think you're going to go it your own way. I was telling a friend, I've watched some clips of my brother, Mwanga Chivumbi, who is intelligent. Mwanga Chivumbi was in politics when I was in the media, so he's more experienced than many of us. His focus, the focus of Mwanga, cannot be a regional focus, especially in a region where you are doing very well. Of course, you need to consolidate it.
Yeah, but thanks to his position as deputy for Buganda. You
need to give hope to other regions, because in the past, and I want to say this, many of the politicians in Uganda, many, did not have a national outlook. Many areas did not believe that they are worth leading the country. I don't think Mwanga Chivumbi needs to bring that memory back, because I think we've done fairly well, our group in Parliament.
Do you find it parochial that Noop is focusing on Buganda?
I don't know, because Bob Wine was in Mbale, he was in Busoga. I don't think the focus is in Uganda, but the communication needs to change, because you may think it is simple. Communication is everything in a political season. You make one statement and you will not walk it back, because you can't be a leader of Mwanga's profile, Mwanga's experience, and the radio stations, the television stations, quoting you as saying your main focus is to consolidate here. No, that cannot. You need to get some other people to do that. Mwanga Chivumbi, as Odongo To said, cannot do a Serare in Arua, cannot do a Serare in Acholi, cannot do a Serare in Kavale. So you are a national leader. Don't assign yourself regional responsibility. You are smolarizing your struggle.
Actually, in the parts of Acholi, such conduct is being interpreted as a biafe or kabaka yeka. They say they have regrouped in Noop, so people are very cautious dealing with them.
So it's serious, because that's what we've been accused all the time.
Yeah, but I want you to look at a scenario where among the constituencies that are targeted, there is yours.
No, I don't want to profile it that way, because in every election I have faced opposition. I became an MP, there was DP. In fact, in the first election, I defeated NRM, DP came third. In the subsequent election, it was the same story. Defeated NRM, DP was third. In the last election, and this should worry Ofono Opondo. In the constituents, I was able to, my vote was 47,000. NOP came second with 16. NRM had 4,000. In my area now, there is no NRM to compete against Ofono Opondo. NRM is not there. And I know they know it, because in Kawempe they had told Museveni that they registered 25,000 NRM membership in their book. And that's why he kept saying, but I have spent 40 billion. Where is the 25? So I don't worry about NRM in my constituents. But the trouble is not just focusing on SSEMUJJU and fighting, is that you are expending a lot of energy in areas where you are almost successful, and expending no energy in areas where you're almost non-existing. Because I have participated in elections, it is a struggle to even get candidates for some areas. And I am surprised, but maybe he was right to say so, that the Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi says we now want 100 MPs. Statement even before the competition has started. Because if you have 529 and Ofono Opondo's machine is generating other constituencies, and your target is 100, you have actually conceded. You have conceded the defeat.
Well, we'll take a very short break, and when we return, our focus will be on the newcomers on the block. We gather PFF. No, yeah. PFF is making inroads now. They're awaiting their registration, their formal declaration as
certificate.
Your certificate.
Next week.
There is the Democratic Force, Democratic Front. There is the People Power Front. How much of a threat do these pose to the status quo? Good evening.
Frontline. Miss the headlines? Afro Mobile brings you live TV on the go. Stay updated with the latest news, sports, and entertainment wherever you are. Afro Mobile is like carrying your TV in your pocket. Download now.
A smile that is white, fresh and beautiful is a smile to be proud of. Discover new Colgate White and Fresh for the whole family with high quality and an incredible price.
Every dream has an address. Find yours at Cadenza Residence. Join us on April 25th and 26th, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. for our showhouse launch at Plot 1 Katonga Road, Nakasero. Let your story begin at Cadenza.
In a digital world, not everything is what it seems. False stories today spread faster than truth, leaving us all wondering what's real. Disinformation misleads, misinformation misguides and spreads confusion and fear. Dismiss, a campaign to help you think critically, question wisely, and verify thoroughly. Join us. Let's build a more informed Uganda, one truth at a time. Dismiss, inquire, verify, confirm. Together, let's fight fake news.
This is nature. This is timeless. This is more than a destination, but a reinvention that will open your mind. The promise of spaces as extensive as your imagination. filled with surprises. Each moment transforms as often as you do, and a room to breathe. This is not a business as usual, but a new way to inspire, connect, and yes, build ideas. We are on a journey to make your gateway unforgettable. The perfect blend of leisure and adventures. Because it is not all about your destination to Kalangala Island, but where you stay matters. We are Brevard Sands Lodge.
Welcome home to entertainment, to Wi-Fi everywhere, to high-speed internet, to security, to first-class support. To convenience. Welcome home to MTN WakaNet, superior internet for every home. Visit www.mtn.co.ug/WakaNet. Welcome home. Together, we are unstoppable.
In a world where every cough and flu feels like a distraction, making you feel uneasy, where every cough and flu interrupts your day, making you lose concentration, and where every cough and flu keeps you up at night. Introducing Genacough DS Herbal Syrup, used to treat cough, flu, sore throat, allergy, and asthmatic coughs instantly. Genacough DS Herbal Syrup is made from our local herbs approved by National Drug Authority and is ideal for both children and adults. Genacough DS Herbal Syrup is a product of Gena Herbal Limited, the makers of Covidex, available in all pharmacies countrywide. If symptoms persist, seek medical advice. Gena Herbals, the home of safe herbal medicines.
Alright, listen up. KULWAKYI is on a mission. It makes our gums healthy and our teeth strong. See? We're moving forward and making changes.
It's kind of a big thing. Colgate Herbal uses traditional nature's herbs and combines it with Colgate science for healthy gums and strong teeth.
And we'll leave no smile behind.
Frontline.
Welcome back as we continue connecting the dots on things and the dynamics playing out ahead of 2026. We're now looking at the conversation around strongholds. Who takes it? Who loses it? But as we still analyze the two parties, the NRM and the leading opposition National Unity Platform, there are newcomers on the block. The Democratic Front is up through their umbrella of Democratic Alliance. PFF is also coming on board. There is
Why are you using the word also?
Yeah, because we
as well.
registered.
Well, you could also look at the People Power Front, another disruptor that is perhaps now causing a lot of confusion within the NUP circles over symbols, over party symbols. But what do all these new players bring on board? I'll start with you, Honorable Mabike. Do you think these new forces are anything to reckon with?
Yes, I will answer that. But first, two issues. One raised by Honorable Odonga Otto. Honorable Otto says, neither the NRM nor the opposition is going to win Northern Uganda. So who's going to win?
No, he said nope and NRM. Maybe as his other force, which he has.
So is it? He should. Maybe he has another force, and which we should.
We need to interrogate it.
We need to interrogate.
We are not statistics. We are tired of being statistics.
No. He said Honorable Mabike, that him and Orania will be the one to decide who wins in the central north.
Okay, we are here to see. Two, the Honorable SSEMUJJU talks about demographics. Yes, I agree. But you should also know that every region has got influencers. And these influencers come across these demographics. There are many undercurrents that influence voting patterns and opinions in regions. And for instance, I know that Buganda was flipped because of some of these influencers. I know that, for instance, I could never imagine in 2021 that some influencers would flip the North, actually, to NRM. And yes, you know that this is a region which has been disgruntled for nearly 25 years. They had issues with the NRM, but they ended up voting. Why did they vote NRM 25 years down the road?
So which matrix will work this time?
We need to influence. So it is too early. I can tell you that it is too early. It is too early to say so and so is now in charge of a region. In the last election, who would ever imagine the emergence of NUP? NUP emerged 2 months to nomination. All of us were focused on the DP reunion events, the DP mobilization, and then all of a sudden there's this mass exodus of all the key actors from the DP into NUP. So it is still quite early.
So is there likely to be a replay?
Oh yeah. You know, for instance, that the political parties form interest groups. Some of these interests are personal. You know, you marry your personal interest with group interest, and then this becomes national. When Mao began doing things shabbily in DP at the last election, every DP actor, prominent DP actor, moved. So how these individual actors now, how these individual organizations manage the coming process is going to determine their strengths in the regions.
Okay, for the benefit of our viewers, how delicate is the coming process? You could share a few details.
You know for sure that we have a primary. We have party primaries. Now, the party primaries have always been a source of confusion and loss of strength. Internal contradictions in the party. How the SSEMUJJUs managed the moon to Winnie issues led to the present state of FDC. And there's no way NUP would have emerged, even DP bloc would have emerged, had the FDCs managed that internal contradiction. So we still have a lot of time to determine who is actually going to be strong where. Now, coming to the question you have asked me, the DA has made it very clear that opposition parties need to put up their act together to make sure that there are reforms, electoral reforms. If we do not succeed in even having bare concessions, the presidential election result is already on the blackboard for all of us to deduce. Because we have argued, and very clearly so, if we don't handle the way and the manner of appointment of the Electoral Commission, if you don't handle the way the presidential election results are transmitted, if you don't reform the way the presidential elections are declared, then the writing is on.
Yeah, but your proposals have been greeted with a lot of scorn from the key players.
It is because of the immaturity of most of our actors. Many times, just like Isho Muwanga, we don't focus on the majors. We focus on the minors. And that's where the OOs of this world beat us. Now, that's a very big mistake. The opposition, the Ugandan opposition, should be speaking with one voice on electoral reforms, because reforms are a key influencer of the next election. So we have really not managed this very well, and I am very sad that that has been so.
Yeah, but how serious are the new players on the block?
Yes, for instance, the
old wine in new bottle.
We in the DA have always had the ideas that have helped transform the entire opposition. I want to give you this example. We have said in the DA that in order for us to make headway in the next election, we need something we call one-to-one model. I don't know why our colleagues are failing to understand a very simple concept. One-to-one model. One-to-one model means that for every movement, where NRM is, we must front one opposition, regardless of his political party. Someone has been talking about a legislator like SSEMUJJU, Otto Odonga has been talking about singling some of these names. Now, there is no reason why, for instance, NUP presents a candidate against SSEMUJJU.
Even you.
Democracy.
There's no reason.
Even Mabike, I should have stated that myself.
Okay? So, we are actually managing this one very maturely. Unlike Kenya. Now, one-to-one model means that a political party concentrates on building force and building power in an area where it has most control. For instance, there would be no reason why NUP would present a candidate against Basalibo.
Are they doing that?
Of course, yes, they are doing it. And there's even no reason why FDC or PFF would present a candidate against me. Very simple concept.
You're discussing
so
ideals.
you simply need to, we have now introduced
these are ideals
now. This is the power of DA now. This is the power of DA. And we are developing this and we are selling it. And our friends are failing to understand it. Our friends are failing to buy it. When we go to Aru, you know you have in the Oto, you have a good candidate. Why waste time? Why waste time? If you are DP, if you are UPC, if you are any other party.
Okay, before I digress, maybe you also need to look at the assertion that the key constituencies that are now being focused on by NUP are ones where your leader has a footprint. Nyendo Mukungwe, Chimanya Kabonera, Mitiana. NUP is very deliberate on getting them out at any cost.
Again, that talks a lot on the focus strategy and the general vision of those in quotes leading the opposition. I want to tell you one other issue.
When you say in quotes, are they not leading?
No, I will come to that. Now let me come to this issue, my brother. The issue of having a consensus leader. This is what is lacking on our side. I want to give you an example. The Kenyans were faced with a similar situation towards Moi's exit. Actually, Moi had been ruling, leading Kenya with the minority. Moi's can was scoring 27% of the total vote, and the rest of the opposition could divide the other votes. It is until the opposition sat down and said, look, Odinga, you are very good. Odinga, you have been hurt most, you have been imprisoned most, you have a huge following. But for the purpose of bringing together all and coalescing all these forces, we need somebody to unite us. And that person was not as vibrant. That person was merely a bridge builder in the names of Kibaki. The Ugandan opposition right now needs a Kibaki. You don't need the most popular. You need somebody who will sit Oto or Dongo down. He will bring on board the SSEMUJJU. He will bring Besije and the rest. That is the kind of person we must now agree on.
I want to move to OO, but besides the photo moments and the press conferences, do the new players on the block really shake the status quo?
As far as we are concerned, we've got a good strategy, and I disagree when my brother Otto said, you know, the DA may not make a lot of inroad in Buganda. Actually, we are not just interested in making inroads in Buganda. Our strategy is national. We are going to make, we are making inroads all over. And we are trying to work with each and every other political formation. For instance, the DA will not present candidates in Bugisu, because we know there's a good force there. We may not present candidates in Teso, because we know that there are some active and very good players. But we are going to concentrate on those key areas where we have power and we have lots of influence.
How much of a threat are the new power forces that have just emerged?
I don't see the DA of Brother Michael Mavike. I think it's going to be a near stillbirth, that one.
It's the same way you downplayed Noop.
No.
Of course. He has always done so.
I don't see DA. Perhaps let me put it differently. The people driving DA have a history, have a track record. Since when have they been national? They have been tribal, regional, Uganda. Since when did they become national?
One thing.
I doubt that when they are looking for personal seats, they will have time to be national and therefore canvass the vote nationally. I doubt. But we shall come back here and discuss that. Two, Honorable Mabike argues as if the interests of the parties now in opposition are mutually, are similar, are the same. Otherwise, you would be one party, therefore. If your interests were the same, you would be one party. But the fact that you were 7 different political parties, it means your interests are different. Your styles are different. Your approaches are different. And therefore, you are not going to achieve easily this thing. I think this is a textbook of saying one to one. Because even in Kenya, you saw, after Kibaki, how did that coalition, alliance last? How long
But
did
it succeeded.
Well, it succeeded temporarily.
It did succeed.
And I think that's the mistake you make. You think that NUPU's interest is the same as DA. Otherwise, why are they chasing you like dogs hunting, chasing a prey? The fact that NUP has set its dogs on you, on Mpuga, on my brother Abedi Bwanika, and they are now trying to set on SSEMUJJU, means you are pursuing different interests, probably mutually exclusive or even antagonistic. In your own case, in Mpuga's case, it is actually very antagonistic. That's why your plea, I think your plea is to try to preserve yourself so that you win a seat. It is unlikely that they are going to give it to you on a silver platter. and I dare you, let us wait whether they will reconcile with you. Now, Honorable Dongoto says he and Olanya are going to be the kingmakers.
Self-appointed.
In self-appointed. Let us wait. It will be good if Honorable Odongoto wins his former seat back at Aru County and comes back to Parliament. Hopefully we shall meet there. Now, Honorable Dongoto, this is not the first time your group, your side, has actually whipped matters in a sensational way. First of all, the question of the Balano, who you say are grazing their cows on your crops, gardens. How did the Balano, first of all, find themselves there? Is there any Mulano? Or are there many Balano who just came from Keruhura or from Isinjiro and found themselves, by themselves, imposed themselves? Some of your fellow elites, political elites, actually some former MPs and MPs, are the ones who took them there. They actually paid money. And I think those, while sensational, you can raise it, they are things that can be explained and may not be a serious electoral issue. Yes, now, because nobody has bothered to explain thoroughly, you are trying to make it an election issue. You remember there was a time when your group tried to make the question of war and insecurity an issue. But when the government resolved those issues, 26, 27, 28, things changed. What you call flipping. Actually flipped, Western Nile flipped all of a sudden, Lango flipped gradually, Teso flipped all of a sudden towards NRM. Actually has flipped, has moved gradually into the NRM orbit. So I think the outstanding issues that you, the opposition, may want to make electoral issue, and this is my issue with the NRM, that we should be able to thoroughly explain, even where there is no solution. NRM should be able to explain why we are unable to provide the desired solution.
Thank you.
Where we have promised to do something, NRM should be able to explain, probably change of priorities, probably resources, probably let down, probably laxity. We should be able to give. Even the issues, even the issues, Honorable SSEMUJJU, let me just say, respond finally to what Honorable SSEMUJJU said. Yes, it is true
the same fate, what happened to UPC will certainly happen to NRM. Because the state is NRM. The moment you lose the state, there will be no party. Where there is a deficit or a weakness, Museveni will appoint 600 RDCs with brand new vehicles, then they will be the one registering NRM. So we hope our party will be registered, will be issued a certificate. We will regardless do the mobilization under the circumstances, but the circumstances will be a very big roadblock.
Okay, do you look at PFF in the same way you would look at NUP in 2021? When they came on board in 2020, they were able to shake the status quo and even shift the tide from FDC.
The Honorable Mavike started the journey of NUP midway. I was in Parliament when we were fighting, because the fight has remained the same fight. When we were fighting to stop Museveni from changing the constitution, that fight generated a lot of momentum in the country. In fact, immediately after that, we were holding meetings at Chinese restaurants here. The Honorable Mavike hadn't even joined. What eventually became NUP, he also joined it later. We were with Kyagulanyi in meetings, you can ask him, with Winnie Cheese and others.
So you had a stake in its creation?
Every opposition, when the FDC was being formed, people who were in meetings, Okule Park and Ben Watch and others, were not part of FDC, but they were helping its birth. So when Kyagulanyi came and joined and others were with him when we were moving to plant trees after Tojukwatako, if you recall, when Museveni was tear gassing us in every town in Uganda. The Mavike joined that momentum later. So the momentum is not a momentum of a deep reunion. The people who are fighting for freedom, people who are fighting to end the Museveni 4 decades in power, will always find something to coalesce around. At that time, it was the removal of age limit. Eventually, after the age limit, we went, even some NRMs were in Mpigi. The Honorable Tamulanda, who was NRM, organized. So that momentum is what Kyagulanyi seized. He found a fertile ground because you had colleagues who had issues with BSG already, within the FDC, but also within the larger opposition. They easily joined him. At that time, it was People Power, and eventually, because the Mavikes in their DP and the Union, they were the ones who are trying to seize the opportunity to benefit from the momentum. But eventually they became a victim of that momentum. So, but the momentum was not built by them, it was not built by Kyagulanyi.
It ate them.
Everybody simply seized it because it existed, it came by itself. And there will always be momentum against Museveni as an incumbent. The issue to coalesce and to mobilize people around may change.
So it's too early to wish you away?
Yes, of course. No, as a group, because we don't seek, maybe other people are seeking to build their own enclaves. But we want to participate, we want to work in concert with others to continue the battle for freedom.
Reach out to Amuriat and Nandala, these are contemporaries. What difficulty? Because that's the biggest question.
How can we reach out to people we are with? The same way you left Odongoto. You should be asking, why don't we reach out to you? Were you not in FDC? I found you there, you ran away.
No, for
so
me,
should I come running? Should I come running after you?
As a philosopher, I knew the roof was going to fall down, so I had to leave before the roof fell down.
Maybe you were the one
and
who
now
kicked it.
You have managed to get out of there.
Maybe you were the one who kicked it.
Let's take a very short break and return.
Frontline. Your favorite Ugandan radio stations are just a tap away. Whether it's music, talk shows, or breaking news, Afro Mobile has it all. Afro Mobile, your radio, your way. Afro Mobile, tune in anytime. Download now.
Hey!
Yes!
1,
Everyone has a dream this year, and it's your turn to Joga 2025 with ABSA. Switch to ABSA and make your dream a reality by applying for the ABSA salary loan. Call 0800 222 333 and let's get started. ABSA, your story matters.
This year, muwangulanga china wolofu.
My name is Ajara Remis. I happen to win motorcycle. Today I'm very happy with Rock Boom. I won a motorcycle, so I'm very happy for them. I'm very happy for them. For you, guys.
Boom Chakala is back! Buy Rock Boom, check under the cap. What you see is what you win.
Someone sold a banana plantation. Yours, eh? Yes. Someone just sold it, eh? Yes. Didn't give you the money, eh? In the name of Jesus, may you see men being convicted. May you receive phone calls. May you see men moving to you. I'm seeing a woman about that which was sold. And then they are coming back, and it's almost like, oh no, just move on. Move on, but it's not moving on now. The Lord using it as a sign.
Watch the power of prophecy with Prophet Elvis Mbonyi this Saturday, 6:30 p.m. on NBS TV, Uganda.
Welcome to La Rose Royal Apartments, where Kampala's charm meets luxury living. Nestled in the heart of Nakasero, this is elegance redefined. Imagine mornings with breathtaking views and evenings of pure relaxation. From stylish two-bedroom apartments to opulent penthouses, every detail is crafted to suit your lifestyle. Live your dream with our world-class amenities. Unwind by the pool, stay active in our state-of-the-art gym, or relax in our tranquil gardens. Don't wait to live the life you deserve. Flex offers make it easy to call La Rose home. Visit www.remaxadvisors.ug or contact Remax Advisors, the commercial agent. La Rose Royal Apartments, where luxury begins.
Frontline.
Welcome back. The conversation around the stakes and odds in the forthcoming elections continues. We want to thank our fans who are on Afromobile. We'll be actually switching to Afromobile shortly. But Honorable Mabike, when you're looking at forging alliances, would you be keen to work with NUP again?
Well, an alliance is formed out of common object, and I don't want to agree. I think it is who made a statement that now why do you want your idea is about forming one organization out of 7 organizations. Every organization has exclusive interests. No. The power game is different. If alone, as we have seen, that there is no single political organization which can do the job that Ugandans require, if it is the common interest that we unite, get one platform to push a regime out, we wouldn't have any reservation whatsoever in working with NUP.
You see yourself at Kavule?
We have actually, in our previous efforts to try and rally support for electoral reforms, have written to each and every change-seeking organization, including NUP. And we're able to meet FDC, we're able to meet GEMA, we're able to meet CP, we're able to meet
CP?
Yeah, CP, we met CP. We were able to meet PPP and the rest. And we're still waiting for that moment to meet with NUP over that. So when it comes to working together on a common front for change, we would absolutely have no reservations working with NUP.
Perhaps the recent photo where Honorable Kyagulanyi and your principal, Honorable Mathias Mpuuga, were seated together and having a light chat could speak volumes to overtures towards reconciliation.
That photo was by accident. These are fellows who found themselves accidentally in church. And in church, you are given a place to sit. And once you are given a place to sit, you may not say, no, I don't want it.
You can't refuse. You can't sit me with Museveni and I sit there.
Sure.
No.
I will walk away.
Why don't you say with Honorable Nandara or Amuriat? Why Museveni?
I start with Museveni.
How about with Honorable Amuriat?
I sit with Nandara in Parliament.
No.
Yes, I was with Amuriat on this show.
But we look forward to a moment when...
so have I answered your phone?
We look forward to a moment when we can be able to sit on the same table and really start talking serious business. I would think...
Who is bending for the other?
Well, in talks, I wouldn't think that there should be a particular party that bends for the other. I think you sit together on table as equals. For instance, Mathias has been a member of NUP. Today he's in DA. He's now leading another political formation. It means that his next meeting with Mr. Kyagulanyi will be meeting of equals, not meeting of a president and vice president. And this is what would be expected. We have written to each and every organization that's talking about change to have a discussion, a detailed discussion on how we can do this jointly, how we can do this job together. Because alone, as we have seen, the 25 years of FDC, we had Besige here, we had SSEMUJJU here, we have had the Kyagulanyi, and if Kyagulanyi fails at the next election, he will equally be a next presidential candidate like Bwanika, Mukaku, Besige and the rest. So it is critical and important.
But for this one, you look at him as a formidable candidate for 2020.
It is still early, as I told you. There are still processes coming. I am not like Honorable Odongoto, who has already thrown in a towel, saying, now this is gone, this is so and so. No, I am not that.
Odongo and the Monga Kivumbi. They're in the 100.
Well, it is still quite early. There are so many processes coming. And also, remember, I told you, that the influencers in most of these regions will determine the next trends.
Thank you. Do you see any game changes coming up ahead of 2026?
I don't see much. There would be slight movements, not decisive. I don't know what motivated, but well, it is not probably surprising. When Mwanga Kivubi said, we are making Buganda no-go area for others. Now, if you say you're making Buganda no-go area for others, and that's where you are enclosed, do you want other people also to make their places a no-go area for you on that basis? Is that what he wants? Because human nature is such that when you see, like now, me, Japadora Toro there, Easterners, what Odongo I think didn't want to say. If you say, we as Baganda, we are going to make this place a no-go area. Want the children to make a no-go area for you, the Muganda, or Lango not to make because you know that's some of the things that have prevented the people who say they are the largest tribe in the country. Because it's marks of chauvinism, arrogance. Is this your area exclusive of others? So you say, we are making it a no-go area for you?
Honorable Dongoto, you once said, Acholi is a no-go area for Bobi Wine.
Even in Mbabas.
Did I say that?
Mbabas, you said.
You see,
so
Uganda is now going federal without the law. Each region has interests which cannot be compromised. If you didn't know that. I would rather we have negotiation based on interests of your people. Because national unity has become a dream. The dream that they started, my father studied in St. Leo's, Fort Portal. They took people from Barara to study in Gulu. They hope in 50 years we would fuse and become ethnically blood. But that's not the case. So we all have interests. As my people, we have predominantly two interests, three. One, fighting poverty, which the government has successfully failed. Two, protecting our land, which is customary, is not for sale. Three, avoiding inward traffic. So we will vote according to our interests, not according to the interests of Fondo Pondo. But I would want someone to get a PhD. A PhD.
I thought you and I are Luos.
You see, yeah, we are Luos. We are Luos. We are all one, yeah. But the issue that should be investigated, it's a delicate debate.
Let's get on to these issues as we cross to Afro Mobile now. Yes.
NBS Frontline. NBS. Always.
The people of West Africa are fighting an opioid crisis.
The task force is here to arrest one of the drug dealers.
Thousands of lives ruined by powerful and illegal pills, packaged as medicines, but sold on the streets. We set out to track the opioid route.
Tramadol.
Which is illegal.
Which is illegal.
And it leads back to my home country. Where do they come from?
India.
No one has ever exposed the pharmaceutical executives behind this deadly trade.
Yes. 5 million tablets.
So which companies are making and shipping these pills? Do they know they're driving a public health crisis? And who are the men making a killing at the expense of innocent people's lives?
This is very helpful for the health.
I think this is wickedness.
BBC Investigations goes undercover to expose India's opioid kings.
But now let me see evidence.
My name is Surabhi Tandon, and I'm an investigative reporter from India. I've come to Kano in northern Nigeria to see the scale of Africa's opioid crisis. Local drug rehab worker Abubakar Metumaki has agreed to show me how opioids are ruining lives in his city, often the lives of children.
It's a time bomb, you know? Children, they can steal in the market. They can do anything to make money, to get drugs, you know?
A lot of kids and teenagers are abusing substances in the open. They just get on any opioid that they can easily obtain.
These children is a problem of poverty, lack of parental care. These children, they have to be in school. 8 years, 9 years, 10, 15, and now they are in the street.
Would you say that this problem is increasing?
The problem of children addicted to drugs is increasing because it doesn't have cure.
It's difficult to see such young kids taking opioids. But next, Abubakar wants to show me the damage these pills can do to long-term users. The following morning, we head to the addiction center where Abubakar volunteers, just outside the city. On the way, he explains that Nigeria's opioid crisis emerged more than a decade ago, when medicinal painkillers like tramadol started being taken as recreational drugs. The name tramadol is now used as a catch-all to describe a whole range of opioids that are used as street drugs. Nigeria is the biggest market for these pills in Africa. The majority of patients here are being treated for opioid addiction.
Most of them are victims of opium, tramadol.
It's estimated that over 4 million people in Nigeria are misusing some form of opioid, including tramadol. Some take it simply for the high, but many take it as a painkiller or to help them get through hard physical work.
Here, most of them are farmers. They don't have a lot of money to buy equipment.